Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is a special episode from OMN. I have a special guest today. My special guest, before I introduce you to my special guest today, I would like to say a few words about my guest. She is a very strong, dedicated, phenomenal woman that just produced movie or film very recently in Oromia region, Ethiopia. So we're gonna discuss about that movie. Before I go ahead and introduce you to my today's guest, let's watch the trailer of the movie and we will get back with my guest.
قلح وقتي بقت أعوذ الكليني يلعزال أمير النار الله قافي النار إبادة وسو اللزو مدوكس كفوي بوء اللام زد أوكسيو سماما جاء تبقللي إيجاتو إيزي كاما زال بسوكتهم كتبي أجازال نت بايما أحادي بوغل
كم سمك فرلتك أعمل كم تيوهال هنقول لسيني حمي بيلو كم سم أهلي ذاتو يد أهلي نسال أو خذاتي تاوخا هاي خذات آيخا أبيك تنقل لي فارغ دايم
نقناتيتو والله لوتي وزوري بقرت سرنان وانت كانوا جنة بيشو جانا ميتو
نسماسي متنو كنا أما يون وان كوسا نجيني كرو كوسا رنتي نامنو زوجي نستوتي فايغا مانيرا
أنا غشازخ ألا يداي يشو مزرب باتاي تنسيما باتاي مريد أسمشو يرسبها زاغتاي
All right, we get back after a trailer of the movie called Faya Dayi, the director of the movie, Jessica Beshir, is with me today. Hello, Jessica. Thanks for coming in.
Zach, thank you so much for having me. This is an honor. Thank you.
Akkam jirta?
Akkam jirtu fayyada ummata Oromoo.
Galatoomii Jessica. So otoo gara qophii kanaatti hin seenne waan muraasa afaan Oromootiin jedhee gara afaan Ingiliffaatti deebina. Fiilmiin kun afaan sadiin hojjetame keessattuu waa'ee haala jiruu fi jireenya hawaasummaa, dinagdee fi siyaasa ummata naannoo Harargee irratti xiyyeeffatamee kan hojjetamedha. So turtiin Jessica Beshir wajjin goonu keessatti waa'ee fiilmii kanaa eessatti hojjetamee, maaliif hojjetamee, isheen Jessicaanuu eenyudha kan jedhu of barsiisuu irraa eegaltee waa'ee san dubbachuudhaaf deemna. Jessicaan afaan Oromoo xinnoo beekti. Gara fuulduraatti guutuu isaa bartee gaafii fi deebii afaan Oromootiin yeroo akka goonu waadaa naaf galtee jirti. Sanas akka raawwattu abdiin qaba. Ammaaf afaan Ingiliffaatiin itti deemna. Fiilmiin kun fiilmii guddaadha. Fiilmii New York Times faadhaan, fiilmii Hollywood Reporter faan review godhamee yookaan ilaallamee barreeffamne yookaan artikilii irratti barraa'edha. Fiilmii yeroo jalqabaatiif biyya sanatti bifa akkasiitiin hojjetamee manneen tiyaatira as Ameerikaa keessa jiran hedduu keessatti ilaalamaa jiru. Kaampaaniiwwan gurguddaa fiilmii produce godhan gurguddoo addunyaa irra jiraniin kan produce godhamee amma guutuu Ameerikaa keessatti lammiilee biyyoota adda addaatiin ilaalamaa jirudha. Fiilmii kana akka ilaaltanis naffeera gaafiif deebii Jessica wajjin qabutti deebi'a. So we get back. Let's start from introduction. For somebody that doesn't know, who is Jessica? Can you introduce yourself for our audience, Jessica?
Yeah, sure. Again, thank you for having me here. My name is Jessica Beshir. I am the producer director of Faya Dayi, a feature documentary that I've been working on for about 10 years. I am based here in New York, but I've been traveling back and forth. And finally, yes, it's out, and it's out in theaters, and it's just incredible. I am so happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, an introduction part. Where you born and raised, and what was the journey from back home, Ethiopia, from Oromia, Ethiopia to America? What that it looks like? Can you give us a little bit background information about like kind of biography of your background?
Yeah, sure. So my father is Ethiopian and my mother is Mexican. And I grew up in Harare and until I was about 16. And growing up there, it was just the most beautiful time of my life. You know, personally, when we left, it was due to political turmoil at the time. And I always felt that there was such a rapture, you know, there was such a rapture in my life and that of having to leave. And it truly, that marked me for the rest of my life, you know, because all of a sudden your life becomes, you know, goes up in fragments in a way, you know. And so I didn't go back for a while. And when I did, it was to reconnect with my grandmother who, you know, because years had passed and she was getting older. So I took my camera and I was filming her and bringing messages to my father, who by then was now living in Mexico. So in a way, you know, relating these messages, you know, between these two most important people in my life was somehow how I started, you know, making this film. And in a way, it was a process of reconnection per se, you know, sort of like making a little bit of making up for the time that was lost in a way. You know, there's a huge loss when we are uprooted from our countries, from our families, from our friends, and there is a huge loss in that it takes a huge process, you know, to heal. And to me, I really gravitated toward the stories of a lot of the youth who are taking very dangerous and treacherous journeys outside of the country through the Saudi. I've seen that. I witnessed that. I'm also a mom, and one of the people in the film, his name is Muhammad Arif, and he was one of the kids that was part of this human trafficking, and he was leaving. And so, you know, for me, that right away brings up the question: is why are we leaving? You know, why do we have to take these incredibly difficult decisions at that tender age? I mean, these are kids that are like 12, 13, 14. I mean, forget about teenagers, but these are like preteens in a way that are totally risking their lives. So in a way, the question, you know, of what is truly happening around here kind of came from that.
Oh, great. Thanks for giving us a little bit background about you. So let's directly go to the movie called Faya Dayi, which is our topic of discussion today. So what does that Faya Dayi means, and what encourages you, what motivates you to go back to your heritage, to go back to where you're from and record Like it's about 1 hour and 20-minute movie. And what encourages you, what motivates you to kind of like dedicate and hard work to get done with this movie, which is like, as you told us in the introduction, takes about 10 years to start and finish this movie. What motivates you to do all this thing?
Well, one of the first things that I started to shoot when I decided to make this film was I was spending a lot of time with the farmers, you know, in the farmlands, and spending time there and truly reconnecting with that rhythm of life that comes when you live in a farm, you know, and the connection that people have with the land. That was just truly a beautiful thing to experience, you know, for me. And also, again, that also was tied into that mode of reconnection, you know, per se. Now, one of the things that, you know, truly was speaking to me while I was there was this hymnal that these farmers would chant, you know, that was called Faya Dayi, you know. That was it's sort of like a call and response, you know, someone, you know, would sing, and then the rest of them would respond Faya Dayi. And for me, I didn't really know what that meant, but it truly was such a soothing thing. I didn't really know what it was, but so throughout, you know, this long period of time, it's not easy. It is a bit challenging to sustain sort of like the focus, determination to truly finish a piece of work, you know. And I found myself every time I came back to New York, when things were difficult, I would listen to the song. I would listen to the farmers, Fayade. And later on, when I found, because that's exactly what he's doing when they're harvesting, that is precisely what it is. It's something that gives energy, something that gives encourages you to continue, you know, that very hard, back-breaking work, you know. So when coming back to New York, I would listen to that, and it really would just truly dispel a lot of the doubts or a lot of the uncertainties that you have when you're making a film for such a sustained period of time, do you know? And when I found out what it meant, it truly was sort of like a moment of revelation, because Fayade, depending on how you spell it, depending on how you pronounce it, has a various translations. However, it all comes back to the same thing: be well, give birth to wellness, give birth to health. And so it was just sort of like such a regenerative hymn that I decided this film has to be called Fayade, because it sustained me through and through, and I wanted to honor that.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. It's truly, it's a kind of amazing. And actually, it's one of I have been in that area for over 4 years and something. I went to a University of Aramaya, and I know how that society lives, and like the meaning of the word, and this is the most used word in that area. When you greet somebody, and after the greeting process done, they will say Faya Dayi. It's just to say kind of like have a good time or a good day, or kind of when they at the end of the conversation, there is always this Faya Dayi kind of stuff. When you do something incredible, when they want to appreciate you for doing something, they always say this Faya Dayi kind of word are very it's commonly used in that area very well. So I think it captures like the message you want to portray. So, okay, let's get back to the movie again. So what is the message? What do you want to portray? What do you want to pass? What do you want your audience to know by making this film? What is the main message that this movie carry out?
But yeah, the abo, that's another thing that they say, you know, you forgot the abo part, you know, that's that part of us. So, well, you know, in sort of, you know, figuring out what this film was about, and if I was going to speak of chat for me, and that's another reason why it took so long. First, because I live far away, but also because I needed to study, I needed to listen, I needed to learn, and I needed to and I really again, it was very important for me to be in the company of the community that taught me about things, and that, in a way, it kind of takes a little bit of time, but in doing so, you realize that chat has become an economic force. It's a very serious economic force, especially around Hararghe, where the economy truly evolves around chat. You know, most of the people, I mean, the employment is very low. You know, it's very hard for young ones to truly find work, and so. It's sort of such a paradox, and there is so much complexity around it, because chat, well, you know, for the consumer, you know, people would say, of course, you know, it makes you waste your time, and, you know, you're not doing anything, and you're not employing yourself, and so forth. But at the same time, as an industry, the way in which this industry is employing people is also huge, you know. So I wanted to be able to bring all of these aspects, the social, political, economic aspects, you know, and sort of like give it a shape or a form through which we can start having conversations about these issues.
Great. So let's talk about the challenges and the opportunities of like after you start working on it. It has been over 10 years. Of course, 10 years is not it's not an easy journey. There is a lot of ups and downs. There are a lot of challenges. At the same time, there are a lot of opportunities in it. So let's talk about the challenges you have been through. It wasn't an easy journey. What was the journey looks like the last 10 years of filming until the day you released this movie? What was the journey looks like?
Thank you. But I wanted to answer something that you asked earlier. What keeps you coming back, right? What keeps you coming? And to me, the simple answer to that would be that's what moves me. You know, that's what's speaking to me. That's what is moving me. That's what compels me. And so, you know, the force was such that there was no way I was going to not finish this. You know. So that's one. Yes, it is challenging because, you know, when I started doing this, nobody truly could understand what I was trying to do. What is this film about? Or, you know, every time I spoke with, you know, other producers, they were having, you know, perhaps I did not know how to explain, but just the pharma, you know, to say, oh, well, this is about cats, and, you know, a lot of it is in the farms, and so on and so forth. It was hard to for people to care about this, you know. So therefore, I decided that I was going to do it myself. So for literally from 2011 until 2018, I would save up whatever I could, and then once a year, you know, take this trip and try to do as much as I could, you know. And at the same time, again, because I didn't have the funds to hire anyone truly, so therefore I had to learn how to do things myself. So I had to learn how to I had to learn something about a camera. I had to learn something about producing. I had to learn something about, just everything, truly. So I guess, this long period of time was truly, my education as well as my joy, because I was not growing just as a filmmaker, but also as a human being, because coming across and being embraced by the community, and various communities around Hararghe, and to receive, such, generosity of time and of self, that was also a part of the teaching. That's what I was learning, from this community. I was also learning about many other things. So it was challenging in that way. It was not. It wasn't easy to be doing that for 8 years. However, after 8 years, I was able to edit. I found someone to help me to edit a little piece, and once I started showing people what I was trying to do for the past, I don't know how many years, then I started to get a certain response. So ultimately, yes, I feel like, to me, it was something worth investing. Whatever I had on, whatever little I had, I was going to invest, specifically time and effort and all of it. I could talk about hardships, forever, but I cannot tell you that today, looking back, any of those hardships were worth it through and through.
Great. Let's talk about the awards and the recognition that come after everything. Then we talked about the challenges. You, of course, you said you have to learn a lot of things by yourself, and there was no such a big support from other side. Like there was no sponsors, no fundings and stuff. It's a very challenging. But what did you felt when you see the outcome? Like, you have been through this all challenges. I've seen that there is a lot of recognition coming in after you start filming. The companies that are showing the movie in different movie theaters throughout United States are the most reputable ones. What did you feel about it? Let's talk about the recognition and the award you got after everything is done.
Thank you. Well, what can I tell you? It just feels like a blessing, It feels like a blessing because, again, my mind was set into truly finishing this film, and I had no idea what would come next, And well, the first thing was that it premiered. It received its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival. That meant a lot, to begin with. So, and after that, the film, has been invited, to very important festivals around the world, and to be seen by many audiences. And it has won many awards by now that I'm completely proud of my team, that made this happen, the communities that came through to make this happen. And it truly is, I see it as an amazing accomplishment. Just the fact that we even finished, that this film was even finished, for me, that was my biggest accomplishment, truly. And but to see it, winning the grand jury prize at Switzerland's Vision Durelle, or very important, the grand jury award here at the Film Frame Film Festival here in the US, one of the most reputed, documentary film festivals. It truly, all of these are just such again, an encouragement and to truly, the way I see it for myself is persevering through something that I so thoroughly believed in and so thoroughly loved, and to be invested in the process of growing with the film, the process of learning. It was all so worth it. And yeah.
Great. I've seen that this movie is reviewed by New York Times, and I've seen news about this movie on the Hollywood Reporter and different magazines. Is that because of the connections you have, or how they reach out to you to review about this movie? And the organizations that are involved in this movie are very big names, even in American movies. And it's a very well-known. They even involved in Hollywoods and stuff. How did you reach out to these organizations? How they are the one who's just showing in a different states right now? How the connection? What is like the connection point with this big organizations? The movie, the cinema, like I have seen the trailer of the movies on Lincoln Movie Center and stuff. These are very big organizations. These are very reputable organizations. These are very well-known names, even in Hollywood industry. So how did you get linked with these all organizations?
Well, sort of the way it happens is that, when it premiered at Sundance, so it is shown to the world for the first time. And what happens when you premiere at a festival is that, your film is being seen by film critics around the world, by press. And so you have absolutely nothing to do with it. Whoever decides or like the film, they will decide to write about it if they want to. So coming off of Sundance, again, not knowing what to expect, to start right after it premiered, all of a sudden, all of these reviews start trickling in, and it was beautiful to see that, because again, it's I believe it's the power of cinema at the end of the day, because it doesn't matter what the film is about. If it speaks to you, it's because of that beautiful alchemy that cinema can have, thematically, visually, sonically, and all of that sort of mixed together, cooked together. Yeah. So yeah, right when it premiered at Sundance, it was reviewed by many of the trade papers that speak of cinema, and then as it went into different festivals around the world and seen by different audiences, of course you would get more and more reviews. And now that we opened this last weekend, we just opened for the first time. We opened in theaters to the public here at the Film Society of Lincoln Center, and it was just to me, I can tell you, it's truly, I truly can't believe it, because Film Society of Lincoln Center has been such a formative part of my life in terms of as a filmmaker. There's been countless times that I've been at the Lincoln Center, watching all of these films that have been inspired, that have inspired me, and to know and to see that Faya Dayi has opened at Film Society is just it just feels so amazing, for me, just because of the connection that I have to the place and to the space. Now, when it premiered at Sundance, a distribution company called Janus Films approached us because they wanted to acquire the film for distribution here in the U.S. and in North America. So so that happened. And usually I didn't reach out to them. They're the ones who reached out because they have seen the film, and so if they are interested in the film, I guess they reach out to you. I'm learning as I go, Zach, because this is my first feature. So I'm telling you how it happened. So, and afterwards, Mubi also, who is another incredible distributor, also reached out to us for the European and Latin American rights. So now the film has 2 distributors as we speak, and because it was opening here in New York, I am very happy that we also got reviewed by the New York Times. Most of them really beautiful, favorable responses to the film, and it's been incredible to see what each person has gotten from their experience of watching the film. That's another thing, I'm hoping that now that the cinemas are opening, I'll have more opportunity to hear directly from a public, because ultimately I made this film so that I could connect with people, and ever since Sundance, because of the year and the past 2 years with COVID, most of these releases went online. And so it's kind of hard, because then your film is playing at a certain festival, but you don't know how the people feel, what they think, and watching it with audiences is just amazing, because then you can talk to them after the film, you can connect, and you can just discuss things, and that's like the new phase of the film that I'm actually truly loving and enjoying very much.
Great. We're finishing, and this the last but not the least question. Any memories you will never forget? As 8-9 years is a long journey. 10 years is a long journey. There are a lot of stories, of course, that you have been through, but the story you will never forget while recording this movie, or it could be after it came out, or whatever it is, it's the story you never forget related to this movie. If you have any unforgettable story out of this movie, can you tell us a little bit about?
Well, I tell you, the whole 10 years has been a trip. It has been quite a trip. There's so many things that have happened. Again, engaging with the community, that's been my joy. But okay, so one of the things that is that was very delicate at the time when I was shooting, especially from 2015, to 2018, that kind of like corresponds. That time corresponds to the peaceful Oromo protests, and sort of like what the Guerra was going through, that I truly wanted to bring into the film. But so at that time, things were very delicate around Hararge, as you know. And we were, one time we were going on a shoot, and we were mistaken for, I guess, a journalist from a certain TV station that we weren't. They thought I was a journalist from somewhere abroad. And yeah, so they held us, from the morning, like to late, and it was kind of, I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen, but truly, what ended up happening is an amazing moment of connection and conversation and understanding, and I really loved how something so contentious sort of like ended up in such a beautiful moments of pure empathy and love. So that is one of the most memorable moments for me.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. Before I end the conversation, for if anybody interested to go and see this movie, you guys gonna go to the website I'm showing you right now. So it's called Faya Dayi film.com, and then in home screen you can see some of the pictures from the movie, and in the buy ticket part of the website you can purchase your ticket straight from here, and you look at your city and the day that you're gonna it's in some cities it's more than one time, in some cities it's one time, so you can see everything in the website, and it's easy. If you want to see the trailer of the movie is in the website too. The screen schedule, especially look at what city you live in and what day this film broadcast in that specific state, so you can easily go to and watch this amazing movie. So in some cities, as I told you, it's twice, and in some cities it's one time. So this is all about what you get in the website. And if Jessica wanna add something about something how they can easily access the movie, the floor is yours, Jessica.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be playing throughout September and October in different cities, throughout the U.S. As you said, fayadayifilm.com. That's the website, and we have all the information, the screening times, listed there. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, for having me here. This is beautiful, and I hope people get to see and experience a little bit, and get a little bit of a dream of back home, through this film. So
thank you, Jessica, for accepting my invitation and coming in the show. And probably we'll get back to another interview, probably with Afan Oromo, and we'll see how far this progress gonna go. As I can see, it's not gonna stop here. So we will see the feedback from every state. It's a kind of new, so it's going to different states now. Mostly it was based in New York. It's a lot of times it has been in different theaters, especially at the Lincoln Movie Center in New York City, and it's coming to different cities. Get ready, different states. Get ready, especially for those of you, for those folks who's just going to DC for Recha. Will be in DC. I think it's October 1, if I'm not mistaken. Probably will ask Jessica to extend like for 2-3 days in there, because a lot of Oromos will go to DC for Recha celebration, and probably Jessica will be there in person too, if she don't have another schedule at that time, and that will be quite amazing. If you have few words to say,
yeah, I was going to say I am going to be there. I am going to be there October 1st for the opening in DC. So yeah, I'm totally looking forward to it. I might be there, October 1st and October 2nd, but for now, we've confirmed, October 1st. In Minneapolis, we are opening on September 17th. That's another date. And also we'll be opening in the UK on the 8th and the 9th. We will be showing the film in Europe and in France, and so for that that's a whole different schedule that we will share. But follow us. You can follow us on at Faya Dayi on Twitter, and we also are on Facebook. So yeah, follow us, and we will be updating our screening schedules as we go.
Great. I will say a few words in Afan Oromo, and I'm gonna finish this program by saying a few words in Afan Oromo. So, filming kun filmi guddaadha. Iddoowwan tiyaatirii muuviin itti mul'atu yookaan iddoowwan mul'isa muuvii gurguddoo warroonni Holiwud itti mul'isan iddoo garaagaraatti mul'ataa jira. Kaampaaniiwwan gurguddoo fiilmii Ameerikaa keessatti mul'isantu fudhatanii yookaan irraa fuudhanii mul'isaa jiru. Biyyoota adda addaattis akka mul'atudha kan Jaasikaan nutti himaa jirtu. Kanaaf biyyoota jedhamitti fiilmii kana ilaaluudhaaf yookaan isteeta keessan yookaan biyya keessan yoom akka dhufu beekuudhaaf Faya Dayi film.com irra seentanii abdeetii achirraa argachuu dandeessu. Egaa waa'ee haala dinagdee hawaasummaa fi siyaasa keessattuu naannoo Harargee irratti xiyyeeffateeti kan hojjetame. Kanaaf warri biyya alaa kana waggaa dheeraa turtanis miimoorii keessan gara duubatti deebiftanii akka ilaaluu dandeessan kun carraa guddaadha. Namoota biyya birootiin biyya saala salphaadhaan barsiisuudhaaf namoonni maybe fiilmii kana ilaalan waa'ee biyya sanii waa'ee uummata sanii gaafachuun isaanii nafu. Kanaaf carraa guddaadha. Carraa kana haala mijeessitee waan kana gochuu seetiif Jaasikaadhaan galatoomi jechuu barbaannaa. Jaasikaa hedduu galatoomi. So we're gonna finish in the same way we start. Galatoma, Ummata Oromo Galatoma, Jiraata is the way we're gonna finish today.
Yes, Ummata Oromo Galatoma.
Aye. So our special episode with the special guests for today is gonna end here. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great time with other OMN programs. Our program is gonna end here. Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in.